How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What's going on, everybody? Marco here with 14P, and I am bringing you another rookie profile talking about Alabama wide receiver Jameson Williams. Before we jump into anything, I want to remind you our Patreon is live right now. You guys can subscribe. If you want to just support the channel and just encourage Justin and I to keep making these videos, all off season, all regular season, and just kind of continuing to make content for you, you can subscribe to our Patreon for $2 a month. That's it. And we will continue to do this because right now we are kind of covering all the expenses on our own. We've got a handful of subscribers already, and we would love for you to join that group. If you want tiered Dynasty rankings, overall rankings for Dynasty, you can subscribe for $5 a month, and that will also get you rookie profiles a little bit earlier than we release them here on YouTube, as well as Dynasty rookie tiered rankings as well. And we might even, I'll hint at it because we're working on it. We'll see if we can get it done in time. We might even have a draft kit coming in the near future that you will only be able to get if you are a patron of 14P. So go ahead to patreon.com/14personnel, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then you can always follow us on Twitter at 14P_fantasy or me at Marco_14P. All right, let's jump right into it. So Jameson Williams is one of the most prolific wide receivers coming out in this class. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury that he experienced in the game against Georgia in the college football playoffs. But before we even get into any of that, let's just talk about a little bit about who he is as a player, what he did in 2021. So he's 6'2", 190 coming out of Alabama. He is was a lot of people's wide receiver one. It hasn't necessarily changed for a lot of people. For us, we don't quite have him that high, but we'll get into that in just a second. Let's look at what he did in 2021. 79 receptions for 1,572 yards and 15 touchdowns with a breakout age of 20 and a half. He is just a big play threat waiting to happen. He is fast. He runs good routes. He's an electric player. Let's jump into some of his strengths, and then we'll talk about the few weaknesses that he does have. So when it comes to strengths, really, he can kind of do almost everything. So versatility is a big one for Jameson Williams. He was a transfer to Alabama from Ohio State, and he kind of fit into that Alabama offense pretty seamlessly, pretty quickly. He is a phenomenal route runner. His deep route running is really excellent. His run after the catch ability is tremendous as well. One of my favorite things he does, and he does this so well with his speed, and this kind of lends to his football IQ, is he'll run some deep routes and he'll just burn some DBs, and then he'll get some routes run. He'll set up some of these routes where he looks like he's going deep, and then he'll just snap off the route and send the DB backwards while he cuts in or turns around for a curl route or a dig route or something like that. And he really, really can do some special things at that point. So I think really when it comes to Jameson Williams, what can he do on the football field? He really doesn't have a ton of weaknesses. He did deal with some concentration drops, and he's getting better. He got better, during this year. He got better at catching the ball with his hands and not letting his body do a lot of the work. So as long as that continues to progress, that's not a huge glaring weakness, but we do need to mention it as you're looking at rookie drafts. And then, of course, the big one is that in the college football playoffs, he tore his ACL. Recovery time on that, we're still waiting to see what's going to happen, what team is going to draft him. Overall, when it comes to NFL draft capital, we don't know it yet. I think similarly to a Jalen Waddle, his draft capital isn't going to take that big of a hit. I think he will obviously be a slower progression into his rookie season. And depending what team he's on, that might just be, it might be like a redshirt season for him, not for his actual playing time, but for your fantasy teams. So it's something you're going to have to keep in mind when you're looking at a guy like Jameson Williams. That being said, right now, he isn't our top two. Right now, our top two, we've already made videos on them, Treylon Burks and Garrett Wilson. He is in that next tier of wide receiver for 14P. Justin has him at 3 or 4 right there with Drake London. And I've actually got him at 5 or 6, actually. I'm kind of back and forth with these two. And the next guy who I'm back and forth with him is actually his teammate, John Mechie. He doesn't have the burst of the Jameson Williams, but he's really special as well. We'll break down him in the near future. But really, for me, I think he is solidly in that wide receiver 3 to 5 range, 3 to 6 range. And I don't think he is one of those guys who's going to be a dud in the NFL. So I think he is a safe pick. It's just going to be how long is he going to take to get back from this ACL injury? And then, of course, you have to think about what is the team he's going to land on. That is obviously really, 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 really important because I know he can kind of do it all. But right now, if he wants to come onto the field and make immediate impact, there's a specific kind of team that you're looking for, someone who is really looking for someone who can play on the outside and kind of fill that role immediately for them. Or, I mean, if he can come in and play in the slot right away for a team. I think if there's a complete vacancy at wide receiver, that's going to be a huge boost for him, obviously. But if he can get onto a team where they have a dominant number one wide receiver and he can come in and play at the slot right away when healthy, I think that could be his fastest way to fantasy relevance. And then we could see a year two or halfway through year two, early year three, true breakout for him. So right now he's like I said, right in the top 3 to 6 wide receivers in this class. He doesn't really have too many weaknesses. I think he's probably one of the safer players at the wide receiver position, but I do like Jameson Williams. When I'm looking at a team that I would love for him to go to, I really think that he would be a phenomenal fit to pair with a guy like Jalen Waddle, who's already kind of established, and that offense is so interesting. Sure, Tua's got the deep ball questions, but I think really what we could see adding a Jameson Williams to a team like that is that he's going to get immediate access to targets, immediate access to opportunity once he is healthy. And that's what you need for a guy like this, is get healthy, get on the field, get the reps so that he can get to that development and that breakout like Dynasty owners are hoping. All right, so when it comes to player comp, I'll preface with this. I really see kind of a hybrid between Devonta Smith and Henry Ruggs. I know they're both Bama guys, but I think his route running is really impressive. He's not the best in the class, but it's up there for sure. And I kind of see some of the Devonta Smith style. He's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger than Devonta Smith, but it's not like I mean, you're seeing him right here in front of me. He's not Devonta Smith skinny, but he's not some giant force of a wide receiver. Obviously that helps him to be the fast wide receiver he is, but that's kind of what reminds me of Ruggs. He's a route technician who has some speed that Devonta Smith could never really get to. So the player comp that Justin and I kind of came to was peak Will Fuller. I know some people are seeing Will Fuller and they're thinking that could be a slap in the face to Jameson Williams. And I think peak Will Fuller is what we could see for the duration of his career once he kind of does get right and hopefully land on a team that knows how to utilize him well. So that's where we got for you guys. If you have questions, drop them below, thoughts, anything below. Hit me up on Twitter at Marco_14P or at 14P_fantasy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And like I said, we got John Mechie, George Pickens coming up in the near future. So be on the lookout for those and sign up for our Patreon. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Peace.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.